Okay, we're live. Hello, I'm Verdi Augusto, and this is the Schumann Resonance Harmonics channel on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you for being here. Um, just first, let me say I'm in the studio, and I got a fan working right behind the microphone, so hopefully it's not annoying in the background. It doesn't show up on my little meter on the OBS program, so I'm assuming it's not going to be that noticeable. But just as a disclaimer, I am concerned about how it sounds on your end, and if it's awful sounding, I gotta strike the video and kind of redo the sound. And that's why I got great microphones. Thank you, my sponsors Bonnie and Jackie, for providing my microphones, which sound awesome and pick up the fan sometimes of people upstairs. Like these are very sensitive mics. Thank you, my sponsors. Um, uh, all right. So, as the title says, this title, boom. All right. So it's observations from Tomsk. And there's a flat line. Let me get this out. There's a flat line, right? You all don't call it a flat line, but I do call this a flat line condition. We got out of a couple days of darkness, 3.5 days of darkness. Um, I'll call it that rather than a huge timeline shift. If you've been following long enough, you know how I am about the damn timeline shifters. The ascensionists are messing up fouling up the sandbox on the playground. They're treating it like a litter pan. Anyway, so thank you for being here. I am Verdi Abusa. This is the Schumann Resonance Harmonics channel on YouTube and Facebook. Like I said, the two of them on Facebook and sort of work. I bring things from. I like Facebook because there's a lot of writing. I can post a lot of the writing. And I've always wanted a place where I could refer to links, that I could refer to stuff I posted, pictures or whatever I posted online. So the Facebook came before the WordPress, and I added the WordPress so I could share from the private. The Schumann Resonance Harmonics on Facebook was private because I didn't want a lot of yahoos, whatever. Um, Turns out I could have been all right, but whatever. I can't change it now. Uh, and so there is that, and the link is somewhere around. And I have the website that I post some of this to as well. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you for coming. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. It helps me, helps keep everything percolating up in the algorithm. If you've been here for a while, please check to make sure that you are still subscribed and that the little bell is lit for the or hit for the all notifications. Um, and this is going to be a premiere length, as it were, which is like 33 minutes. Technically, is the premiere length. So a minimum of 33 minutes. I haven't talked with anyone for a while. This is in the middle of Pride weekend here up in the Northeast, or at least here in this city I'm in. And so I've been helping my former boss at the club. I used to work at a men's leather and fetish club, gay, club. And it was a lot of fun. I did the bar backing for a while, and since day one, I've done the cleaning uh, of the place. It's 5 years, a little over 5 years of cleaning every day. I called a few days. I called out. It wasn't anchored to it every single day. I got some days off, but uh, oh good golly, the bar was open 7 days a week. I was there cleaning largely 7 days a week. Couple sick days, whatever, couple vacation days. And I stopped doing the bar backing for a while. So I was doing the bar backing and that was 4 days a week, 5 days, 4 days a week. And then, that shrunk down to one day. And then at a certain point, I was like, I can't do this anymore. On Saturday, busy Saturday, should have taken the Friday. That would have been a better option. But Saturday was so fucking busy. occupancy in the club of 150, it's rated for 150, we'd have 170, I think, in there, or plus 175 back in the day. Poor counting on the doorman's part. I knew how you're supposed to count. He didn't count properly. Okay, whatever. We never got rated on that, thank God. That's an expensive fine to be over over your capacity. $10,000 a person. Whatever. I was there when the fire marshal measured out and told us how me, the manager, and the assistant manager, how the fire code works and everything, and I had to keep track. I know. I was paying attention. The doorman wasn't there at the time. He didn't know, and I tried to explain to him, I know what I'm doing. No, you don't. Whatever. I'm just the cleaning guy, bar back. Well, whatever. All right. I don't have to pay the fine. You know. So so there's a lot of stuff for the clubs, and and I'm not saying what city this is in. Uh, but the fire codes is part of the thing, and that's why a lot of businesses have to rethink their business model as a result of COVID. That you can't squeeze not only the fire code, not only the F-bombing fire code, comma, but also the health code of dirty, sick people coughing on you and squeezing in next to people. It wasn't that bad before. You're like, all right, whatever, but it's a thing now. Okay, it's the new order. And so the business model, this is something that needs to be considered, is that the business model being able to squat back as many people as you could into a smaller space has to be re-examined. It is being re-examined. And so you kind of ooze out into the parking lot, the parking areas. Things are changing. It's just the dynamics shifting. The great shift. They talk about the great shift. This is the great shift. Shifting around it, letting the things that need to fall. Let the things that need to die. Natural process. That is it as well. Things that were marginally working based on a failed business model need to have the business model re-examined. There's a lot of area that is not being used, that's vacant, that's being hoarded by landlords, that can be utilized for the general good of people. That needs to be considered as well. So, on that cheery note, it's 8 minutes into it. Yeah, we'll take a break. I'm going to take a break and have a refreshing beverage. So hopefully, we'll meet back when I have a drink. Okay, thank you. Okay. If possible, I would. That's one of the things I liked about the live stream, is that I could just, shoot the shit with you guys and hang out, and we'll watch some videos and stuff. It's just a really fun time. Things will be changing. Everything's getting readjusted, reset. Oh, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. In the meantime, come on, what are we doing here? This video. Okay, so I'm happy that you're here. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna shut off my little guy here, the little laptop. This here that you're seeing here, me, is one of, I can pick a number of cameras, and so this is the little laptop that's right in front of me on the studio that I'm looking at. It's taken me a while to kind of figure out how to get everything to work in here. I like having the two cameras of me. It's too much for me, but I think, like booking, I like addressing the the audience. I want to have eye contact with you. It's one of the things my guide says. I want to have eye contact as much as I can with the camera. And so that's why I have two, because I get two different monitors working. It's a rather kind of, it's a rather involved studio setup I have here, that the universe gave me. I know, I have the technical skills to be able to use this, and I do make the most of it. Me and Alex and live stream, and we have more stuff planned. The universe was very kind to me, in addition to my sponsors, Patreon and the PayPal. Thank you, Jacqueline Grace. She has been, supporting me on Patreon, and just recently upgraded her subscription there after reading a bunch of this stuff, And I just want to say this. I have a Patreon account. It's been there for a while. And I've had over 6 months, 7, 8 months, I think. And so I have some Patreon subscribers over there. And I'm going to be doing some unlisted videos and have the link over at Patreon or over at my website with some more, advanced stuff for people who are interested in it, So on that cheery note, onward and upward. All right, we're at 12 minutes here. Good. I'm killing time very marvelously here. All right. So, where are we at? Let's take me out of the picture here. Okay. And we'll do this. Nice. All right. So I have this display that's kind of lined up perfectly here. And I wanted to have the website very high up here. I want to get the browser tabs out of there, and I got the website. So way at the top, you can see it's Disclosure News. So let me readjust. Okay, so all right, we're officially beginning at 12 minutes into this. Okay. Thank you for being here. I appreciate everyone. When I look at these, there's a lot I can say, but I need to remember to keep this basic for people. When I do these, Wages World, first off, thank you to Wages World people who are here. He still sends people to me because he recognizes that I really know the most about what's going on, technically. And if you read any of my stuff, you know very well yourself. Technically, I know what the F-bomb is going on. I've given in the Facebook group and in other on my channel, I've also made videos about this as well, keeping it simple on the whole aspect of how they get the Schumann resonance signal, all the way to how how they plot. It's called plotting the data on here, and I've given a lot of done a lot of videos on the process. And I'm going to be doing one more on a rather complete exposition of how the process works. Okay, so I have another video, basic yet comprehensive video that I'm going to be working on. I'm getting the script ready for it. All right, so and so I got to fix the typos, and I don't mind going over my work, but the amount of times I need to keep going over it and over it so it makes sense would numb the mind, But anyway, that notwithstanding, I've done a lot of basic videos on how to basically read the spectrogram. And so these observation videos are where I start getting into the individual colors and all of the technical aspects of what you're looking at when we see the spectrogram. It's because it's not the Schumann. When they talk about the Schumann, all right, I'm going to preach here. Hold on. The Schumann, as I have said this and places before, and I still need to do a video on the subject itself. Okay, come to Coming up, it's on the works, it's on the board. So the difference between the Schumann and the spectrogram is that when they talk about the Schumann, they just give you the spectrogram report. 1 out of 4 parts to this. How can you get the complete story, the complete picture with 1 out of 4 parts? I don't know. You're getting, it's bad enough if you've got half the truth. Let's assume all 4 of these is half of the truth. You know, in the Kabbalistic principles, you know, all truths are half truths. Okay, so where does one end? Where, you know, where are the polarities in this? You know, what's the truth and what's the lie? This is, you know, a lot of this is to resolve duality consciousness. Okay, the 2 parts to the, you know, the epoxy of society, you know, the catalyst and a resin, the lie and the truth, right? You know, all truth is a representation of someone's truth, and they try to generally give you most people, right? They'll try to give you the best that they can of what they know, but there's also a problem with the language, right? So it's part of the catalyzing process is to have a lexicon that you can share with people to push forth ideas. Okay, so the language is part of it, and big part of it of what words are you using, what word forms, right? What of solidifying our minds around some word forms where we all, the 12 of you, the blessed 13 of you that are learning something here, who have learned. There's 10 that rotate and 3 honorary positions that aren't gonna. They're fixed there. Ricky is lucky 13. Bonnie is 12. Wages is 11. Anyway, so we have to find a lexicon, shared language, where we can talk about this stuff. And this is part of the biggest problem that I have working through is the language, the dumbification that comes with the language out there, the non-technical basis language, folk tales language, what you call it, the Disney side. A lot of people come here with the Ascensionist version of Schumann, how to read Schumann, what it is, based on dimensions, 5D and 4D. Oh, good golly. No, it's not what we're about here. Right? So it's part of the difference, moving back to this, what I was talking about, the difference between the Schumann, calling this the Schumann, and this being called the spectrogram. Okay, this right here, being called the spectrogram. Okay, the difference between the Schumann and the spectrogram is one of them. The difference is when they talk about the Schumann, they're only giving you 1/4 of the data, and they're missing the foundation of it. Right? So the foundation of this is the other 3 parts that's missing: the amplitude, the quality, and the frequency. Okay, so so that's what I'm bringing to this. This is what I'm giving you. This is what, when we look at the spectrogram, that we're not just looking at the Schumann as being what is. I've said this. It's not detecting data. It's not receiving data. The Schumann is an analyzer, right? What you're talking about, the Schumann, it is an analyzer of the information. The Schumann is only a printer. It's a plotter, right? It's a spectrum analyzer within a certain boundary. And if you don't know what those certain boundaries and constraints are going into it, then you're going to, in that case, you will be misappropriating the data, the scientific data, and misrepresenting it as something it is not. If you don't know how the information gets into the spectrogram, and you believe you're looking at a direct, antenna of the atmosphere, you are really incorrect and really wrong, and operating with a lot of bad information in your head that needs to be gotten rid of. Okay, that just, I've said this before, I'm saying this again, I'm saying this now, like as a public service, just public, information for you to know the difference between the Schumann and the spectrogram. Okay, they are taking, right, the Schumann people, the Schumannites, taking this information here and misappropriating it and then misrepresenting it as being something it's not, more often than not. There's a few people that know some of the influences to this correctly and properly. However, there's a steep learning curve, quite honestly, there's a steep learning curve to being able to understand how to put all of this together, okay? And I haven't really gotten into the reading on this yet, 20 minutes into it. I'm more chatting here. This is a folksy kind of video here. Kind of like doing that too. Hi everyone, see you here. If this is a premiere and there's a chat, there's some kind of random side conversation going on now. It's the way it is. Maybe I've had to kick someone out of the chats. I don't know. Anyway, so this is, I have not gotten too technical at this point. I'm chatting. But I wanted to, take a minute to kind of get on my soapbox, I guess. I don't know, preaching. I think I said that I'm preaching here. The Schumannism kind of thing, there's a religion to this, right? There's this part of a new age religion that's being formed from the atmospheric electromagnetics, which may or may not be the Schumann resonances. Okay, right? There's a whole big pot of stew of an amalgam of different elements in this that's being called the Schumann. Right? Okay. So, when and where I can, I try and speak the truth as I know it, as I see it from my technical background here, on the Schumann versus the spectrogram. Okay, what's the difference? What's the difference between the Schumann and the spectrogram? So, all right, let's get back into the lesson. Okay, so one of their problems that we have with the language is the talk about, or the verbiage, the lexicon, the phrase where they talk about flatline, where you hear people talking about a flatline. Now, in the case of the mistaken case of the Schumannites, when it goes into a data void mode, when it's in a maintenance mode, when the section where there's no data. Okay, we just recently had a section of no data. I don't know if it was it was like actually 4 days, I think. 11th to the 16th. So it was more than, it's 5 days. It was not 3 days of darkness, it was 5 days of darkness. Okay. So as a service technician, my first presumption is they're working on the machine. That it's I've heard this from other sources as well. It's an old machine in Russia. I don't know when who knows when. And even then still, this is the world. This is still the world. Not everyone has the most up-to-date equipment, and the problem is, even if you do, there's software issues, and even then, it's still, once you're dealing with electronics, there's so many different levels of complications to it that it's difficult to imagine whether the problem is locally at Tomsk, or if it's a problem with the server getting the information to the rest of the world, or if they have shut down the system their internal system, gathering the system? Or do you know if they're not shut down the servers at the TSU servers? I don't know. These are all conditions when they out there talk about flatline. I say it's a data void, could be a buffering issue of the signal not getting through the channels on the server, okay? Getting information through the system, okay? There's a lot of moving parts. There's a chain to everything. And so when you have these periods of data voids, we talk about big patches where there's, data void. Are they withholding the information, or is it just that the system is shut down for maintenance, right? So when the Schumannites, the band, this group of thought that people espouse, you start seeing enough of it, there's a form to it, not just one person. There's a group of people all with this kind of idea floating around. Flatline. Schumann went flatline as if the Earth itself went into flatline, as if the Earth stopped working for 5 days or something, right? So when they talk about the Schumann, they are pointing you in the direction of the Earth. It's something funky with the Earth, and not thinking of it first and foremost from the service technician's perspective of what are they doing in the website? What are they doing on the server? What are they doing with their internal data collection and dispersion system? Okay, so this here on our end, my end here, this is the first thing we look at when we have the data voids that they call the flat line. There's a whole level of shit I'm not getting into with that, okay? Separating this out from the wheat from the chaff. So the wheat here, so to speak, is you're looking at the technical reasons why there's no signal getting to the server. Why is that? Why is that? That's my first thought. Okay. So because there is once the antenna picks up a signal, okay, it goes through the amplification chain, and assuming that the amplifier is working properly, but that could be one of the things that's not functioning, right? They kick the batteries out of the amplifier. The batteries of the amplifier are expired, whatever. These are all things. So when we distinguish, the wheat from the chaff. Okay, so when I talk about flatline condition, that is this here. Okay, this band. Okay, and we're looking at when we talk about the flatline condition. This is what I'm talking about. Amplitude flatline condition, where it's a very, very still day for amplitude. This was all yesterday, as we were getting everything ready. The heck do you call it? The stage. I was putting up the stage at my old work, and I posted some pictures in my community page about getting the club ready. Right. So, it was a hot day. I did a whole lot yesterday. I went on a bike ride, the PBJ, Providence Bike Jam, the rolling bike party. I happened to kind of come across someone there I knew. Yeah, okay, sure, I'll spend 4 hours on a bike tour, bike party. Okay, that's how my day went. Okay, and yes, I did dance. And I have, video, such as it is. People had a great time, great day. A lot of people had fun, and this weekend looks to be fun as well. All right, so this was all yesterday. And we look at this right here, the quality, as I mentioned before, the quality is the magnetics. It is the home of the Schumann resonances. This is also very calm as well. There's not, you see, there's a spike here at, this is like midnight, and the yellow yellow mode. This, when you see the, yeah, this is a yellowish kind of color here. It's not really, most of that magnetics you see here, right? This magnetics is kind of lodged here in this, right? It's not free floating like these are, right? Okay, so it's here, mid-grade magnetics. See the yellow there? All right, yellow and some red. So that's our red here. This would be when you see the again, when you see the orange and the rust colors, that's yellow and red together. So there's just this barest here blip of the red, right? I'm just reading you what's showing here, and then there's some red there. Not much red there. All right, okay. So there's not really, a little dip in the, but this is what the colors. This was supposed to be orange. You get a look at the colors, orange, whatever. So, all right. So this is our observations. So we have our high point of 52, our peak. This was not that long ago. This was a few hours ago. This is, you see this, I call this synchronous mode. See, all these are roughly the same shape and same configuration. These are high voltage coming in from the upper atmosphere. And this is where we start getting into, you look at the Tomsk local time, it's 12 o'clock. This is one where it starts picking up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8. This is 8 right here. And this is where it starts going into, night, dark here. That's 8 o'clock, 9, 10, 11. That's midnight. That's 1, 2, it's 3. It ends at 3 in the morning, local time. All right. So I'm 22 hours minus. I'm in the East Coast. It's minus 22 Tomsk time. All right. So technically, I'm still back here. This time zone here. But all right. And so again, the white is the Tomsk local time. The yellow is UTC. If you want to link it up with your time zone. But you got to look. I always look at the local time because it's telling me what position the sun is, and that's telling me what the amplitude, where the source of the amplitude is, also kind of based on the time, right? So a rule of thumb, a general kind of rule of thumb in doing this, let me pause this here. Okay, so when I'm looking at these, one of the things, you got to look at the time this is happening. All right, so our flatline condition, amplitude flatline, and even, it's like a very calm day in the Schumann resonances. This is one of those perfect Schumann resonances days because we don't have amplitude getting in the way of you seeing the actual Schumann resonances, okay? This right here is the actual Schumann resonance, okay? This is the fundamental first, second, third, fourth, and you can just see the fifth harmonic right there, okay? At our 30, this is our 33rd mark. All right, just see, it's a beautiful representation of the Schumann resonances. That's why I like these kind of amplitude dead days, because you can see the actual Schumann resonances, and it's beautiful. I love it. I can see a lot there, okay? However, for you, the people who are here with your crazy mental problems and your physiological stuff and the ailments and the non-grounded relating problems that you have, you want to see the spikes because it validates, I'm going crazy. All right, okay. So, generally speaking, this is not to everyone here, but for the most part, right, when we band together to say I'm not crazy, it's the spikes here. Okay. So, that's kind of a joke. Or it's me being funny anyway. So the So we're looking at the peaks here, and you got to go with the actual numbers. 52, not all peaks are the same. Just because it peaks up here, it doesn't mean that that's the same amplitude rating, right? So this peak here is 52, and this is actually negative. This is picoelectrovolts. When they give it, like when they give you the number on the decibel meter, it's got a negative in front of it to let you know it's negative. It's below zero. These are very subtle, okay? So again, the amplitude spikes are light based in lightning release from top to bottom or bottom to top, from high to low. As the Earth's field changes, the potential it shifts. So the potential between the ground, what's technically the ground, and the um and the ionosphere, it changes, it shifts. So within the course of a day, even. So sometimes the ground has more of a potential to attract the upper atmospherics to it, and this could be based on the magma moving underneath the ground. That is entirely possible, based on something underneath the ground, a magnetic anomaly, whatever. Sunken treasure and pirate's gold. I don't know. It's a thing. Um, so, so part of the two parts to this is one is the condition of the ionosphere, how tight, how taut it is. Okay, so that's time dependent. So when we start getting into 8, 9, 10 at night, it's releasing. The sun is going down, and it's releasing. So if it's purely solar, how do I put this? If it's purely lightning, all right, we have two influences that are happening. One is the ionosphere, the condition of the ionosphere acting like the drum head. Okay, so as the ionosphere tightens up, up there, the ionosphere tightens up, it bounces a lot of stuff around us, and it makes it a prime candidate for Schumann resonance vibration. Okay? And you'll get this, just the general condition of the overall sun, you'll get the Schumann resonances because there's already lightning going on. So a primary cause of Schumann resonances is lightning bouncing off of a tight ionosphere. Now, when the ionosphere loosens up, the electricity bouncing around should loosen up as well. And so the diurnal variation into the night, you see it like drops down. However, here, where you'd normally see like this is something I want to point out. Normally we see just a kind of a void there. There's people have wondered, what is that? What did they do? Like, I've heard people ask that. It's like, no, they didn't do anything. That's just a nighttime. There shouldn't be anything there. However, there is here, right? Look at this. Look at how much is going on in the middle of the night. Okay. This is tightening up of the ionosphere. Okay. This isn't a burst in amplitude. These are the magnetics that go around the world. They're still active, okay? And yet you even see some of the frequency picking up, okay? Dips at midnight, but then you see the frequency, right? Look at this. This is all frequency. In the middle of the night, there's the waves are here, okay? This is the magnetism, okay? You got to remember, this is the magnetism of the waves, and this is the speed of peak to peak. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. The speed is picking up, okay? So, in the middle of the night, it's rising up so that midday, by the next day, it's ramped the fuck up. All right, look at this. And then this is going at midnight. They're peaking here at midday. Okay, that's true enough, but it started from midnight And it rose from midnight and then it just kept going up. And then you see there's another peak at 2 in the morning here, a peak at 4 in the morning. Okay, right, local time. Okay, when everything should be asleep, okay, you get a peak, then another peak. Okay, so this is how you get the yellow and the red here. See this peak? I showed you. Boop, boop, boop. Right. Well, that's not it. All right. But right here, right here. Okay, and that's where a peak should be. All right. But this is where, yes, yeah, right, yeah, it is here, right there, yellow and there. You see that the spike of yellow and red, right there, matches up. That's where it comes from. So quality is again the magnetic flux, the power of the magnetism, which is lateral like that, and the amplitude is the electric side of this, which is electron volts. That's voltage. That's the upright. That's amplitude. So one of the things that we distinguish is the size and the shape of the brush that makes the signal, and the direction of the signal path as being determined on by signal path. I mean the atmospheric data coming through the antenna, creating signal path, a line. What do you call it? The a line is the signal path that goes from one component to another. So, so the line that goes from the signal hitting the actual antenna to it being amplified, so it can get further, so it can get sent further down the line into the analyzers and the spectrum and all of that. Okay. The line, really lost my train of thought and where I was going, but I was talking about generally the line of the signal. Picking the quality aspect of it is the magnetism, magnetic flux. So as the direction of the signal is moving, that's what gets plotted on the spectrogram. So quality is generally talking about quality. And the frequency is also going to be found along this line level, this path as well, of that direction, because frequency and quality go together because it's measuring the peak. Okay, the magnetism, the qualities, waves, and frequency, where it relates to radio waves, is always peak to peak. Okay, so as your peaks are increasing, the time between them is increasing, and the frequency is going up, from its, they measure it. The frequency here is measured in terms of kilometers. Okay, peak to peak. Okay, so this number going up is covering a higher area within the time of 1 second. Okay, so this is not a time number down here, up here, right? This is the time. This axis, which I don't know if it's the X or Y axis or whatever, but this is all based on a clock. Okay, a clock, standard whatever clock. Okay, same one you got in your wristwatch. The universal linear time-based clock system. Okay. So this number as it goes up here, this number as it goes up here, okay, is a distance in space that as this number goes up, it's taking more space within the same amount of time. Okay, so that's what this number is telling you, and these are kilometers. Okay, It's like 8 kilometers. If I'm not mistaken, it's 25 kilometers down here. Oh, please, system processing. Please wait. All right. So you can see these numbers. These are in kilometers, and this is what the frequency of radio waves is measured in, is kilometers, the kilometer band, or centimeter band, or whatever. And this is our magnetic flux, as they call it, which is flux is fluctuation or change. So this is the magnetism, the strength of the magnetics, which is the horizontal component, and this right here is the amplitude, which is the vertical side of the component. And most people, a lot of people, a good number of people are coming into this wanting to link up some physiological problem with a bump on the Schumann, and they're generally looking at the peaks and the spikes of the amplitude and thinking nothing of the magnetics from, you see a big lump right there. That is that's a magnetics. That's why it's caught there in this magnetic tension of this harmonic here, this fundamental. All right. So, when I do these observations, I give the actual numbers, but it may not mean a whole lot to you. I'm just reading off what these numbers are here so you can see them. It's part of the thing, and so that you can start associating on the spectrogram what the foundational dependencies are. Where are you getting the information that you're putting on the spectrogram, right? No one else is doing this, right? Not no. Alexis of Ascension Diaries, she's bringing up the other stuff, which is great. Someone should. But other than her, anyone else who talks about the Schumann, it'll only give me the spectrogram. The majority of people don't even realize there's more that goes to it. The majority of people don't realize that. They're only giving you 1/4 of the data. They just don't, it's not that they're withholding it, it's that they don't even know. It's that they just don't even know that they're only giving you 1/4 of the data. That's what's worse about this. It's not that they're intentionally deceiving you, it's that they themselves are deceived and they're trying to be helpful. I don't know. I don't know. It mean well. Manuel, they're Manuel. I don't know. So I'm, again, I have 30 plus years experience, meter reading and audio, video, and all this stuff, right? You yourself could go to tech school and start learning some of this stuff. But how much time do you got? How much money do you want to invest in this? And that's part of it. It's part of why I'm putting out my shingle in prostituting myself for subscribers, is because I got, educational expenses. I still have college that I still need to get paid off. I got college loans from learning this stuff, you may or may not know, but college costs money, So, I went to school. I learned about this stuff, right? You could as well. How much time do you got? None? All right. Well, then, okay. We're going to be having a new paradigm coming up soon. I'm going to be posting short videos in probably the Schumann Resonance channel, and then having, longer videos on the new site. So from, in a number of videos. I think I'm probably going to do this first. I'll post a little short video from, I'm going to do a number of different things. So I'm going to post some short videos and the Schumann resonances, and then send a link over to the longer one, and the new channel, the atmospheric electromagnetics, because Schumann resonances are part of atmospheric electromagnetics, but there's a lot more to atmospheric electromagnetics than just the Schumann resonances. Okay, so atmospheric electromagnetics encompasses Schumann resonances in addition to all kinds of other shit. that's affecting you, and the real cause of the ringing of the ears, and among other things, Kumyania is not Schumann resonances. The whole Italian network is not there as Schumann resonances. Schumann resonances is measured in the modes. Okay? Okay. Anyone knows that. However, the VLF seismic detecting go together as part of the Central Italian Electromagnetic Network. And chances are some of the first videos I'm going to be doing are revisiting Kumyania and talking more about some of the other ones over there, Etna and all of that. So this is one of the things my guide's been pushing me into, is really exploring the differences between Schumann resonances and the VLF monitoring. Schumann resonance detection and VLF monitoring. Oh, what's the difference between detecting and monitoring? Ooh, that might be a good video to make. What is the difference between Schumann resonance detecting and VLF monitoring? Okay, because the monitoring also comes with seismic metering. Okay, and as we all know, the Earth is always shaking. So, in some cases, you're not always getting a Schumann resonance. Right? They're very subtle. They're in the pico range. You've got to have specialized equipment. You may not be measuring the Schumann resonances properly. Right? There's a range of them. It's 0.3 up to 46 hertz, and that's it. Right? Whereas VLF goes much, 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 much higher. Right? Your amplitude spikes go into, thousands of hertz. All right, so brief run through of the differences. 5150 time. All right, so this is coming. I'm ending the observations for today. This was a little bit longer than I had planned, but I'm rambling on. This is a folksy kind of talky, chatty video. I'm talking about a lot, not just the observations. And I'm talking about the new channel, my new channel, because I'm want to do something fun and exciting there, which is this one here. I started out doing, I'll just let you know this. This one here, originally, I was going to call it Giants in the Land and talk a lot about, you see one of the videos I did, early video I did with my camera about from a iMac, it was in the Mac store, where I had shown Anchorage, I think it's Alaska, somewhere in Alaska, where they're getting earthquake. They're getting pummeled with earthquakes near there's a base up there. So I took some video of the land and I was kind of talking through it. And so originally that and the WordPress was going to be about giants in the land and the giant volcanoes of the flat tops, the mesas, tupas, Devil's Tower. I was going to talk all about that. All right, so that didn't happen. Instead, I decided to dedicate this to the Schumann resonances. All right, so that's a short history of this, and it's fine. And I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to delete the flower pictures. No, a lot of good stuff. This is me at a certain point for the last 5 years, I think, give or take. I've been at this 5 years, this channel for 5 years, 5 or more, I think. I don't know. I haven't been posting videos all the time, but I've been, posting videos for most of the time, however they are. So now I'm going to, kind of shift gears because this was successful enough. I was asked to monetize, so I got the minimum subscribers. I got the minimum number of hours watched. So I'm at the point I could monetize it. I'm not going to. I'm not monetizing my YouTube channel. So in addition to not monetizing this one, I'm going to have a video channel of a lot of unlisted videos that you're only going to be able to get access to through either through YouTube or through Patreon or my website, or maybe even my WordPress. I have a couple people over there who see my WordPress. Not many. There's so little people over there. It's almost like that's unknown. You know, like, okay. So, you know, or if I do an interview with Wages World, or if I need to do an interview with someone else or something else, I will post. I may very well. I'm thinking of posting something over there that I can use as part of the presentation. That'll also be unlisted. That I'll give the link to people in the description, and there will be, you know, videos up there to the public. There will be short videos up there to the public. Okay, it's not, you know, it's I'm open to everyone. You know, everyone's got to get access to the information, but in the, you know, the two-tiered system, or try your, you know, it's multi-tiered system here. Depending on, you know, depending on your level of commitment to knowledge, uh, how deep of an answer do you want to get? You know, how much of my time are you? Well, I can give you a short answer for little to nothing, but if you want a longer answer, how much of my time do you want? You know, and so that's the question. So that's part of what, you know, what the shifting of this has been, that there is agreed a certain amount of information that needs to get out to the public, okay, for free, okay. However, I need a mobile home. I need a new home. I need a new gig. You know, this has to support me. So, so I have, in multiple places, I've given the support, you know, places. There's a GoFundMe, you know, I have, you know, there's a PayPal, and I'm going to open up some other avenues you can, you know, send me donations. But, you know, the Patreon is okay for now. It's a, you know, it's a way that, you know, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel, but my website also has, you know, the ability for you to get more of my time. And so what this means is, when you're asking me technical questions on the Schumann resonances and electromagnetics, I can spend more time with you. I can build up, you know, you know, some really fun interchanges with you, and we can, you know, spend more time doing this rather than me killing myself. Oh, today's project, okay, all right. Today's project for this landscaper working for the property management company, today's project is to break up a mattress. You gotta rip off the fabric covering of the mattress, get the metal out. They won't take it as a mattress. So you have to bust it open and get the fabric off it, and then expose the metal frame underneath, separate them out. You can tear up the, you know, once the fabric is off, it's garbage, and the metal gets thrown out for, you know, metal recycling for one of the people who go around collecting metal. Right? So that's what today's job is supposed to be. Tomorrow, you know, it's the weekend, the garbage isn't moving, you know, but that's, you get the general gist of it. So, uh, the universe won't take me in my sleep, so you're stuck with me. So, please show me some love. Help me to find a new gig. Please support me with the Schumann resonances and atmospheric electromagnetics, so I can be done doing my day job, and I can make that my former day job. So, on that cheery note, I'm now almost an hour into it, close enough to an hour, and thank you all for being here. And what I'm gonna do is, I haven't played music in a while, but I'm gonna play some music as an outro. I got 2 minutes, whatever. Okay, I have to re-record this part because you couldn't hear it in the last one. So, basically, I'm going to end this with some music, and I have the gain jacked way up, and I have the music in the background. Um, so, thank you all for being here. This is one of Aaron's Make Me Feel Better COVID mixes, and this is from January the 16th of 2020. I get hit with a copyright claim, and in some cases I can't show the video in certain countries because of the copyright claim. So I'm circumspect about having music in my stuff these days because of that. So, but on the flip side, I also am not monetized so that I can do fun stuff like play music and do Aaron mixes. So, on that cheery note, I'm going to gracefully fade into some music. So thank you all for being here. Much love. I appreciate it. For those who stuck around, you're wonderful.
Now you got me all jacked. Jack. Now you got me all jacked.
like that, you know?
Get your dance on.
When you're a teenager growing up in Salt Lake, you go party at like all of these like weird old limestone gulches. Okay, that sounds okay. Yeah, so
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
yeah, it's like a 90 minute. Yeah, always in the middle of fucking
Bicycles galore.
It's like national historic site.
We're getting ready to take off in a few minutes.
I got to have some little train guy tell me like a 2 hour. He's like, don't go to national parks. They suck. Go to train stuff. He tried to convince me to change my whole vacation to go look at trains. And I do it for like 20 plus minutes. And then I was like, I'm not going anymore. It's like 20 minutes. And he moved in with me. We're just still talking trains. I made a mistake of being like, so you like trains? I'm like trains? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.